Greetings, gals, non-binary pals, all you other cryptids. This is Scrubhaus Video Club Live, yay! And I totally butchered the intro because I'm obviously not Glowcat, who you can call Audrey because y'all are friends. No, I am Skunk Rocker, and with me tonight is a special guest. We have Mythos Santa, another Scrubhaus Video Club admin. She is actually over our more creative productions, like the more artistic stuff. Does a lot of stuff for our website and a few other secret projects that we will not bring up. But no, she's got that stuff under control, and her and another friend of the show, Grass Dragon, they came up with tonight's topic, actually, which is the bad movie alignment chart, which I do have. I can actually bring that up on screen. See? Now, as you can see, it's blank, but we're gonna rectify that. We're gonna fill it in.
Like some Sudoku over here.
So, Mythos, darling, if you'd like, could you explain the bad movie alignment chart? As I'm gonna put it back up on screen here in a minute, but can you explain it, like what we got going on here?
Yeah, just make sure you're sharing the link. But so basically, this is ideal. Like, you know how alignment in D&D, you have like good, neutral, evil, going up and down, and then like wrong direction, and then law, neutral, chaotic, going side to side. That's boring. That's dumb. People have, however, made a bunch of like alignment chart memes out of this, and I was surprised when I didn't see anyone do it for like movies or bad movies. So I was workshopping this with our, club member Grass Dragon, and me and her came up with some shit for this during movie club, and it was like, okay, top to bottom, instead of it being, good, neutral, evil, is artistic, is a passion project, isn't trying to make any money, but is just some kind of message or something the person who is running it is doing for fun. And there's both, which is like, it's commercial, but there's some creativity in it. And then purely commercial, which is this is a pure cash grab. If there's any artistic merit in this, it's either minimal or completely accidental. And then like versus narrative, which is like how coherent the narrative of the film is. And it's like essentially, like we're talking essential narrative, the plot must be linear and make sense. Like if the A to B, anyone can follow it. It's going to be really easy. Agnostic, which is like it's unclear, but you can generally figure out a coherency. And then the idea that narrative is a necessary and unessential for the film is that the plot, there may not even be a plot. It may not make any sense. It's just Wild West, Narnia. It's nonsense.
Right on. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be discussing this, and we're definitely, this is going to be one of those episodes where we're going to encourage a lot of crowd participation of the two people who are watching, one of which is Audrey. Hi, Audrey. Hope you're feeling better. But on top of that, we're gonna be discussing these. So I think we should just really honestly, we either should pick a row or column and then just go with it. I think. Yeah. Wait, is that how would you like to do it?
So I have dice. I like dice. Tens we're going to ignore, and then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we're going to fill it out at random. So
okay.
5. Let me see. 5. Yeah, it's 5. Trust me, it's 5. Yeah, here it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right in the middle. So both neutral. Yeah. So we're getting the hard stuff out of the way. Definitely.
Yeah. I was not prepared for this, actually. Give me a second.
Cool.
Fair. That's what we're going to start with first. A film that is both commercial and artistic, but is agnostic towards the plot.
Yeah.
Which is really, if you think about it, isn't that would just be an anthology, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean that is an anthology. I'd agree.
Anthologies, anthologies in their core are artistic and commercial, because the point of the anthology is to bring a bunch of directors together and kind of let them do their own thing. But that's the selling point, you know. Or if it's something like Creep Show, it's here's a whole bunch of stories, and they're all artistic in their own merit, but they're, you know. And then of course with the plot, well, the plot's all over the place because it's a series of linear plots that are usually connected by a thread. You know, like with Creep Show, it's all different things out of the book, but that means the plots are all over the place. Sometimes, like with Creep Show, you had serious stories, but then you had comedies. Well, technically, they were all serious stories with comedy elements, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So, but I'm thinking crazier than that.
I think uncanny is a good place to start, and then we get crazier from there. Because when I think like kind of weird, shitty, like fuck, like it's commercial, but it was also artistic. Like it's not purely a cash grab, and the coherency of it is kind of lacking. But it's not like the craziest or the worst film. It's just kind of a goofy movie, you know.
I mean, I wouldn't put a goofy movie in this at all.
No, yeah.
Which this is something I've never seen. So very weird. We had it on a vote. I think we had it on a vote at one point, but we never watched it. The Uncanny. I think because we did like a cat horror night, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Something like that. And I think The Uncanny was on there. I was thinking, me personally, to stick something in here would be Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yeah, that is. I think that's valuable. It doesn't have to be horror anthology, right? I think that's just most anthology films are horror.
But this is supposed to be the bad movie alignment chart. So rather than saying Kentucky Fried Movie, John Landis had Amazon Women on the Moon, or whatever it was called. Is that what it's called? Amazon Women on the Moon?
Yeah, a satirical sci-fi comedy film that parodies.
Well, it was just various comedy sketches, and it was supposed to be like you're watching late night television sort of thing, and it was kind of all over the place. But I mean, you know, it had you know, an all-star cast in it, really. You know, Michelle Pfeiffer and Phil Hartman, Arsenio Hall. It was a John, if I remember, it was a John Landis film. No, it was Joe Dante. I thought Landis had something to do with it. Oh no, it's got 3 more directing credits. Oh, John Landis directed part of it. Joe Dante directed part of it. Carl Gottlieb. So yeah. So this was a major film, and it was, if I remember correctly, Amazon Women on the Moon flopped at the box office. So it wasn't very good. And the thing about it is that with Amazon Women on the Moon, I mean, you have the plot's going all over the place, but you can still follow it. Each individual story, you can follow the plot. When it switches up on you, you're like, wait a minute, where are we going now? But you know, the thing is, can we get any weirder?
Yeah. I think
without going outside of because I could think of one more.
Yeah.
Without going outside of the bounds that we've labeled ourselves with. But I feel like this one is less artistic and more commercial, and I don't think it would fit in here. I don't think it would fit in this middle spot. And that is the Blair Bitch Project, which was a Pauly Shore project that he put out that was really bad. It was terrible. And I think that's more commercial than artistic. So I'm thinking Amazon Women on the Moon would be good for. But do you have any other ideas? I know she linked me to Tales from the Crapper.
I know I did. I've never seen it, but I thought of like Lloyd Kaufman's in a pretty good space for that middle ground in terms of artistic, where like he has an idea and he's trying to do something that's at least entertaining, but he's out to take your cash.
He's very much it's about the money and the art with him. So Lloyd, I think, is a good having a trauma film in that center spot might be the way to go.
Yeah.
So are we 100% set on doing Tales from the Crapper for the middle one, or
Yeah,
do
what does the
you want to?
audience think? Dan,
That's a good
Glowcat,
question. Yeah, Dan and Audrey, what do you all think about? I would say Tales from the Crapper on one hand, but then on the other hand, Amazon Women on the Moon.
you can
Like
put
I
two
think
things.
those would be the two, but which one? Or do you have a better idea? Do you have something else that you feel um, fits this? Let's see. We have a comment here. Audrey says Tales from the Crapper almost killed Trauma. It's terrible. Well, that it definitely deserves
Yeah,
the
it's a bad
of
movie.
bad movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that might be the way to go. Um, I'm putting in the other Axis stuff now. I'm just doing this real quick while I'm thinking about it. I should have done this beforehand. As I probably am typoing everything as I'm typing it out real quick. Yep, I just typoed commercial, so I know I did that. I typoed it twice because I'm awesome like that. I just realized I typoed it in this one too.
Whatever.
It's just yeah. We have another comment here from Dan. So, what was the first Star Wars cash-in movie? Battle Beyond the Stars? I've never heard of it. I have no idea.
Yeah, Battle Beyond the Stars, the 1980 space opera produced by Roger Corman. So yeah, Magnificent Seven in outer space. It's kind of like Akira Kurosawa, you know, that whole deal. It looks like it's a combination of like Star Wars, Magnificent Seven, and Wrath of Khan, like that sort of general conception. I think actually they got, according to the score, it said several fans have noticed similarities between these scores and those of later films such as Krull and Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. So actually they were ripping off this film. And was James Horner's third film score.
Almost done. I'm sorry. I keep typoing commercial, so it's taking a little bit longer. And there we go. Got it. Got all of them. Okay. So I don't know if I would go with Corman is definitely a guy who has artistic merit, but he also is generally pushing more towards like he wants that bottom dollar. Like him and Lloyd, they swim in very similar ponds. Glowcat, Audrey, says message from space would probably be a good answer for this. Let's have a look there at message from space. That's a Japanese space opera film. It's a Chiba movie. It's not a Chiba movie. As the okay, I see. Referring to Dan's question of what was the first Star Wars cash-in movie, would probably be the Message from Space. So that doesn't have anything to do with it. So I still feel Trauma is a good fit here. I still think so. So I'm going to say, Tales from the Crapper is going to be our first entry into the alignment chart.
Awesome. Okay.
Let me see if I can find a good copy of the cover real quick.
I'll roll for the next one if that's okay while you're searching.
Sure.
9. So that's commercial and incoherent.
Well, unnecessary.
Unnecessary. Yeah.
Yeah. The plot is unnecessary to the overall picture. Is the idea that I thought, and I actually discussed this with a writer friend of mine. on that. What would that particularly mean? That is something that, as far as the plot goes, when we were discussing it, it was what is the kind of the juxtaposition of plot in movies. It's like he was saying, well, you really can't have a movie without a plot. I mean, what is a movie without a plot? And I said that the idea here is that the plot is unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's not that it isn't. The plot isn't required for the movie to continue to do the thing that it does, right?
Yeah.
My biggest example of that when I was discussing it with him was Rubber. The plot is completely unnecessary to Rubber. It has a plot, killer tire going around blowing up people's heads, but that's not what the movie's really about. The movie's really about, hey, here's all these really weird set pieces to make you think, to try to,
Yeah.
that's a very artistic film. That there was no way it was going to make any. It was only going to make money on the idea of that it would be,
a rubber murder movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the idea about the killer tire and the weird shit. This is the kind of the movie that you just go, you got to go see this movie, man. God, Mac and Me is actually a really good answer for this. But Mac and Me does have a central threaded plot. It's a little all over the place, but it is there. You can connect point A to point B to point C. The only nonsensical thing in Mac and Me is that frickin' McDonald's commercial right in the middle of it.
I see what Glowcat is getting at, where it's like, is it necessary? And I'm like, well, McDonald's could have just spent that money and bought an advertising slot in every AMC theater and had the same effect.
Yeah.
Where it's like, is it unnecessary to the vision of the film? Yeah, the plot doesn't really need to exist to sell hamburgers.
If you take that element, if you take that element out of it, the McDonald's scene, if you take that element out of it, you save like 10 minutes and the movie still works. So I don't think that the plot still is there and exists to be able to move the plot forward. It does have a consistent ending. My friend, when I was discussing this, said it's going to be really hard for you to find a movie that is a commercial release that's designed to make money, but doesn't really have a plot to speak of.
I still think you just, yeah.
His thought was he can only think of one, right?
Yeah.
And the Beach Boys put out a movie called Head. And I've never seen it. Right? I've never seen it. Apparently, it's almost like a rock opera sort of thing, I guess. But it was a 1968 film starring the Monkees. It was produced by Jack Nicholson and Bob Rafelson. It was directed by Rafelson, and it's I've never seen it. Never seen it. Dan would be the one person to ask about this movie, but it looks like it does have a plot, but the plot is so all over the place, and it's just bizarre. Like when I say the plot is all over the place, like it doesn't make any sense. It's like here's an example of a scene that's in this movie. The Monkees jump off of a bridge into the water below. Mermaids try to revive him, and then the scene transitions to a living room in which the Monkees are having a kissing contest with a young woman who pronounces them all even. And then the opening song plays, filling the screen with images from the movie, but ends with the execution of I cannot pronounce it.
A member of the Viet Cong.
Yeah, it's that famous photo of the guy who is about to get his brains blown out, and it's just a bunch of stoner imagery. It looks like. Yeah,
I have another.
Dan says, he has it on VHS, but it's so incoherent he can't remember any of it. And I think my buddy Bob did hit on a pretty big nail on the head here with Head. think Head might be it.
I have a second one. I have a contender.
Sure.
Godfrey Ho entire filmography.
Well, Audrey is here to defend or condemn Godfrey Ho, so I do want to get their thoughts on this. But you did bring that up before we started, that you felt Godfrey Ho, that everything that Godfrey Ho ever did was commercial and yet had no point whatsoever.
Well,
that is
the point is he wanted to make his
all over the place because it's just a bunch of different films mashed together with the plot being written kind of on top of it through dubbing.
Yeah, I mean, the way I view it is it's like he did in the 80s what YouTube bots that make like children's videos on YouTube do now, right? Where it's like he just takes as much footage of whatever he thinks will sell, smashes it together without any coherency, adds a bare string of like sense, and then prints as many negatives as possible and tried to sell them to Hollywood, Hong Kong theaters.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we were discussing it earlier. I mean, I looked at his 1987 and 88. Well, his 88 filmography is even better than his 87 filmography. His 88 filmography fills my screen. I can't even see the top and bottom of it at the same exact time because there's so many movies. There's no way he filmed this many movies in 1988. They're all just taking a bunch of stuff and yeah. Audrey, what's going on over on Twitch? Audrey said that sounds like a Godfrey, but we need to fix our auto mod.
I will check it.
He's Audrey tried to say his last name, but Ho gets blocked by the auto mod on Twitch. Yeah, I'll fix that later. Or I'll try to, one or the other. But yeah, no, I think that's also a pretty strong contender for commercial merit but unnecessary plot. If we had to pick, because we want to put one film in there, what's the most Godfrey Ho? What is the most commercial merit but just the plot is totally unnecessary Godfrey Ho movie that you can think of? So I've only seen a few. I've only seen what Audrey. Ninja Kill? I've only seen so many Godfrey Ho movies, and they're all ones that Audrey has shown me. Audrey also says Ninja Kill. So yeah, those are the only ones that I've ever seen. So I don't know any. That's as good of an answer for me as any other, I suppose. Yeah. So let's see. I get the Ninja Kill poster up, and while I'm doing that, you can go ahead and roll them bones, and let's see what the next thing we're going to do is.
Okay, 9 and 5 are out. 3.
That would be artistic but unnecessary. And really with this, you've got a whole bunch of different options of just weird shit, really super weird shit. I mean, it really just really the question is where do you go with that?
Yeah, I mean, Rollerblade 7. Deathbed is like this, but it's much more like the plot is much more necessary to what they're trying to do and much more there, but it's still very weird. I saw Deathbed. I got that from Audrey, and I watched it with some of my college friends last night, and we were laughing our heads off, and we were like, this makes no fucking sense. One of my friends just fucking left the room for 20 minutes.
Yeah. But here's the thing about Deathbed. I feel Deathbed is along the same lines, right?
Yeah.
Of Birdemic. They made a bad movie on purpose. They were trying to make a bad movie, and therefore they failed at making a bad movie what's good about a bad movie. Anybody I've ever heard talk about Deathbed was like, they tried way too hard to make that bad instead of just making a movie.
I disagree. I think Deathbed, the guy was trying to make a good artistic movie, and it ended up like it actually is a pretty decent art film, so much that it's hard to enjoy as a bad movie.
I do
Like a
agree
fucking
with
student film. Yeah.
I do agree with Audrey on this though. I think Rollerblade 7 because
Yeah.
its plot is can you okay, how about this Mythos? Can you, Madame, can you describe the plot to the Rollerblade 7?
No. So yeah,
No,
Rollerblade
we
7
can't.
good. Yeah, nobody knows what happened. Yeah.
You could easily describe the plot to Deathbed, but you could not describe the plot to Rollerblade 7. I've seen Rollerblade 7 twice now, and I still can't tell you what the hell happens in that movie. Possibly because if I did, I'd have to tell you 3 separate times. Tell you 3 separate times. Tell you 3 separate times what happened in the plot of that movie. And ain't nobody got time for that. Yeah, I think I'm kind of gonna have to put the SVC admin hammer down on that one and say I do believe that that's where Rollerblade 7 goes.
I would say Rollerblade 7, and to a lesser extent, many of the other Zen films of that era of Zen film.
I think you kind of
like
have
Rollerblade is like the one of that. Like if you had to pick
it's the
one,
beginning.
Right?
It's the beginning, and if you wanted to be real pedantic about it, you could say like, oh, but the Rollerblade 7, like the first one was a good movie. I mean, yeah, it was. I don't necessarily think that it's going to be good enough to escape the bad movie stigma. I'll put it that way.
You're not showing this at like Tribeca Film Festival, and
I mean, I would have.
I would. I think if you're a good enough fast talker, you can probably get away with convincing a few critics that it's genius if you bully them enough. But you can do that with pretty much any film, so it doesn't count.
I don't know about that. But yeah, so you have the Rollerblade 7, and I think that's good for artistic merit but unnecessary plot. So we have 3 down. And we're almost done with the unnecessary column already, which is neat. Because those are the weird ones. Those are the ones that are hard to find. Because how do you define a movie not really having a plot? And I think the 2 that we've picked have been pretty good for that. But let's roll the dice and see what we get next.
6. Last unnecessary, and
yep, unnecessary and both commercial and artistic.
This is hard. In a weird way, this is harder than purely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because something that you would have to you'd have to think of something that has no or very little plot, right? No or very little plot, but was made artistically and has artistic merit, but was done for commercial reason. And part of me is thinking something that's commercial and artistic but really doesn't have much of a plot. I'm thinking Fantasia.
But that's like, I would agree that like fits that aspect, but it's not a bad movie. Like I definitely
have to find the bad movie version
with normal people, right? Yeah.
We have to find the bad movie version of Fantasia.
Of Fantasia. What's the thing? Can you put the bit on the screen right now so we can see where we're at? I'm curious what it looks like.
Oh, what the chart looks like so far?
The chart, yeah, just to remind everyone, because I want to get a lay of the land.
Sure. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Because I was going to finish it and save it for the end, but I could go ahead and upload what I've currently got right now. Yeah. There we go. And so this is what we currently have right now. And let me take that off so you can see. So this is where we're currently at the moment.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to think of like, well, what is the movie that is between the Rollerblade 7 and Ninja Kill?
That's like what's between the 2 edges of the Grand Canyon or like the Atlantic Ocean.
I mean, the thing about it is that if you're gonna go off of that, then the being both commercially as well as artistically merited and not having a plot, but you're trying to think of something between the Rollerblade 7 and Ninja Kill, it's going to have to be something to do with katanas, and I'm not okay with that. Dan says here that Allegro non troppo, the bad version of Fantasia. So let's have a look at that. Allegro non troppo. Oh well, now this is I've never seen this, but it does look like that. It does. It's a parody of Fantasia. Two of its segments being derived from Fantasia. The classical pieces are set to color animation, ranging from comedy to deep tragedy. But I don't know. Part of me is thinking now. Is there any way that we could put a Ralph Bashki film in?
Absolutely. I think Wizards kind of goes here.
Or heavy metal.
I googled.
I like heavy metal. Don't get me wrong. I like heavy metal. That movie. Let's face it.
I googled incoherent Italian movie, and I got The Beyond. I don't know if I agree with that, but it's certainly a take.
The Beyond.
The Beyond, yeah, with Lucio Fulci.
Yeah, that's a Fulci movie.
Yeah, so if Fulci did it, it can't be entirely artistic, but it's not going to be entirely.
Yeah. So that's where I'm thinking Audrey's quoting Wizards. I don't know. This one's tough. I'm wanting to lean towards the Allegro non troppo because Dan said, it is a parody of Fantasia and it's really bad. And Wizards does kind of have a plot, really, when you think about it. Like it's all like over the place.
One.
Yeah, it's all over the place, but it's there. I'm thinking, and there were scenes in heavy metal that were literally just. Hey, here's some cool stuff. Does it have a plot? No. It's a dude driving around in space in a Corvette. Was there a plot there? I don't remember a plot in that part of the movie. And much like the episode of South Park about the getting high on cat urine, but a good like 10% of that film was just boob lady.
Yeah.
I don't remember the plot of that scene. I don't remember. So I'm thinking heavy metal. Is it's not that I like heavy metal. I do. I like the soundtrack. I don't like the movie that much. I don't think heavy metal is a heavy metal. And I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people would agree too, because a lot of people I think would be all like that. They're like they could name two scenes out of heavy metal that they like, and they can't remember the rest of the movie. That does to say that doesn't make a good movie in my eyes. So I'm thinking heavy metal.
Yeah.
And Grassy agrees. She's here, by the way. She's
yeah. Woo, hello.
Yeah, heavy metal. Which is because again, it's thinking about like that movie and thinking about what that movie kind of represents. It's like it's definitely weird all over the place, doesn't make any sense, and it's literally just to sell records. That was its whole entire thing, but it did it in an artistic way, and you can't fault it for that. So I think heavy metal is a perfect choice. Wow, I got a really high-res heavy metal poster by accident. This is going to take me a second to shrink down.
Okay, we've done 4 of the 9. I'm going to switch to a D6 for ease of use.
Yeah, because now I only got like 5 left.
Yeah, we'll just skip 6, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then skip. I'll roll it 1 for the record, so it's plot matters and it's artistic.
Yeah, this is where we're going to get into the stuff that's going to be a little easier to deal with. Where's my banners at? Here we go.
I think this is when you start getting into like modern bad movie auteurs, like certain what's his name? I can't. I'm gonna go ballistic if I can't remember the genius.
I'm gonna tell you that. Twisted Hair.
Twisted Pair, I think, though I think he's gonna be less coherent. Why am I forgetting his name?
Neil Breen
Maybe The Room goes here.
I think in this particular case, like, yeah, I really do feel like in both of those, with both of those directors, right? You are talking about films that do have artistic merit. They're not made for commercial. They are personal passion projects of the individual who is trying to say something with their movie, whether it's they're trying to invoke a feeling, and the plots are more or less linear with them. I wouldn't put The Room here. I wouldn't even know if I would put The Room on this list. I know a lot of people say that's the worst movie ever, but The Room is so weird that I don't know. And I kind of want to.
The Room is like quotable lines. Dude is clearly jacking himself off. Yeah.
But Breen, on the other hand, I really wish that Woos was here, a resident Breen expert. Because between Audrey and Woos, I don't know who likes Breen more, but Woos was the one who introduced us to Breen, to the Breenisms.
Audrey
kind of adopted Breen from him. So
yeah, they did. They hung the picture.
Yeah, we got the got the picture of Breen on the wall. I've been in the house. I've sat under the picture of Breen. He also they also have a picture of Joe Estevez and Max Headroom. So yeah, it's the house is really cool. Hey, Two Real Geeks is here. Hi, Two Real Geeks. Yeah, Sandrock.
Yeah. I do think,
but I also like. Here's the difference. I like Breen's movies. They're not great films. They're okay. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're filmed pretty poorly, but that's like a budget thing, I think, and also the fact that he has to kind of like put himself in there. Oh man,
he's a better filmmaker.
Getaven is
Get Even.
We always pronounce it Getaven because the poster shows it one word. Getaven is, but does Getaven count? Does Getaven have a straightforward plot? Because I don't really remember.
I know there's certain Neil Breen movies that are much more.
I think Getaven does have like a straightforward plot. I just don't remember what it is. Because it's him and the girl, and there's some nonsensical scenes in there, but they're still they're more put in there for pacing and time more than anything else. And again, it's artistic merit. He wanted to have a song and dance number in there with the shitty shuffle.
I don't.
Grassy says Getaven is a great fit. It is a passion project. Does have a simple plot. The good cop versus the conspiracy. And Audrey says, the Normad got him kicked off the force. Him and Wings kicked off the force, and they have to take down Normad and the cult. So yeah, I think Getaven is gonna slide. It's gonna slide right in there. It's gonna shifty. What was it? Shifty shuffle, shifty slide. How does it go? Right in there into the. And of course, I will be using the Getaven poster because not the Road to Revenge poster. So everybody can look at John DeHart in his amazing leather pants.
Oh, I forgot about Getaven. I thought this was a Neil Breen movie, and I was freaking out.
Oh, we're talking about John DeHart.
It's the one with the famous bar scene.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Or whatever the fuck it's called. I always call it the shitty shuffle to get on Audrey's nerves.
Slide, yeah. Yeah, I think this definitely fits. It's a terrible movie. It's a passion project, and the film and the plot is great.
Don't say it's a terrible movie too loud because you'll upset our Audrey. Audrey loves this film. Oh man, the shimmy slide, that's what it was. And yes, Agrassi, the Neil Breen recutting Getavin would be amazing. John DeHart, we want the John DeHart Neil Breen mashup. That would be amazing. But unfortunately, John's become a lawyer. He doesn't care about movies anymore, which is sad. But because I wanted to see more from the man, his movies are, it's like, yeah, like Audrey said, terrible in a good way.
Yeah.
And earlier, Dan asked if the De Laurentiis version of Dune would fit here, and I I don't. I disagree because it does have a pretty straightforward plot. It's based off of a book, after all. The book is not bad. And while it was somewhat artistic, Dune was definitely. I think Dune would be in the both category.
Yeah, potentially.
They wanted to make movie. They wanted to make money off of that movie. Hey, speaking of doing things, why don't we roll that die one more time? Actually, do you have a D4 on hand? You're a
I somewhere in my room, but it's I don't want to get it. They're all tiny and I hate them. Yeah. So one.
Well, just
yeah.
Well, just the first
3.
four. Okay, 3. So, in that particular case, that would be, 1, 2, 3. I believe that's essential. It's essential and commercial.
There's a lot of options here. Probably the biggest. This is every big budget that ever bombed, right?
There we go. There it is. Both commercial and artistic. Or no, wait, it's commercial and essential. Whoops, my bad. That one, commercial merit, essential plot. And there's a ton of these. There's a ton of these that are. There's all sorts of movies you can point out being really bad and being commercial and having essential plots. I have to say, my favorite example of this, personally, the one that I think it should really go in this slot because it's the perfect example of why just because you have put money behind something and just because that you have a decent plot doesn't make a good movie if you don't know what the hell you're doing with the source material. And that is to say, or not the source material necessarily, but if you're just putting style and spectacle and everything up there, but no substance, right? And even though you have a good plot, and even though you got all this other stuff, that movie can still suck absolute balls.
Yeah.
And Audrey called it. It's Waterworld.
Waterworld is up there. Cats is up there. Cats 2019, I think, is like when I think the most modern example of that is they had amazing amounts of money. They had actually a pretty great cast. They had I'm blanking out, but a lot of big hitters. The numbers weren't necessarily terrible, but they had so much money that it did sort of what's the name of the guy in The Simpsons, the rich dude?
Mark Emery Burns.
Burns, yeah, where it's like all the viruses are trying to get through the door and they can't get through it. Where there was so much money that they couldn't actually make a film.
Yeah. Here's the problem with Cats. Here's my problem with putting Cats in that. Cats, the 2019 version of Cats, yes, it was absolutely 100% a commercial endeavor. There was no artistic merit to that whatsoever. You can tell by the people that they cast in the movie because they cast people in the movie literally just because, oh, you're famous.
Yeah, there was
no reason for some of those people to be in the film. And in fact, they invented characters just so they could hire more famous people to put them in the movie.
And thus spend more money.
A lot of commercial films that are like that, where it's just all like, let's get as many celebrities in this movie as possible. A lot of James Franco, Seth Rogen movies are like that. This is the end, Sausage Party. Another one. Another one that I'm thinking of though that's along those lines of like it has a clear plot, you know what's happening from point A to point B, but it was no artistic merit to it whatsoever. It was literally a commercial. Was the Emoji Movie?
That was on my list too. Yeah, where they got yeah.
Well, yeah, I was gonna and I remember you brought that up before we started up the show. You brought up the Emoji Movie as being one that you thought should be on this list, and I agree. Um, so I feel like it's got to be between those three films. And if we're doing this as the official Scrubhaus Video Club bad movie alignment chart,
Yeah.
as much as I feel that like Emoji Movie and Cats are perfect examples,
Yeah.
they're too new.
We watched Waterworld at Scrubhaus. We were all angry about watching Waterworld at Scrubhaus. I fell asleep while watching Waterworld at Scrubhaus.
I love Waterworld. It's just way too long. Even I said like this is way too long of a movie. It was just Kevin Costner sucking his own dick for like 2.5 hours. I didn't know he could do that underwater, no less. That's why he has gills. This has been a Kevin Costner blowjob.
He wrote his own cock and fuck, you wouldn't even know he's got gills.
No, I did a Kevin Costner blowjob joke. I did a Kevin Costner autofellatio joke. But I feel like this is one of those things where I don't feel, because again, the big thing with Waterworld was absolutely 100% a commercial project. It was designed to make a ton of money and it didn't make shit. But it was also Kevin Costner really pushed for that movie. It was kind of a passion project of him, not necessarily on the artistic side of things. I think he wanted it to be artistic and it just wasn't going to happen because it was a big budget studio that wanted to make money off of his name and Dennis Hopper's name. So is putting Waterworld in this slot?
I don't think it's commercial enough because people care. Someone somewhere was like, I like this script.
His name was Kevin Costner. He was the only person who saw artistic merit in this whole entire thing. But is that enough? Because he is the star of the film and he was the one who pushed for it. Like, you will not bring editors in this to chop it down to 1.5 hours like it should have been. It was supposed to be a big blockbuster movie of the summer. No, you will leave it the full length where I can tell my amazing story of being the merman or whatever the fuck. So I kind of feel like you have to cut Waterworld out of there, but then that means that we're going to have to end up putting fucking the Emoji Movie in this slot. I'm
going to say Cats, and I'm going to say why. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
It's 2019. It is before COVID hit. This is the last big winter movie before all the theaters are shut down. I go into a theater with my friend at the time. I'm blanking on her name, but it was someone I had met at a party with the guy. This guy I was dating. Ended up talking to her, befriended her, dumped the guy. Ended up taking her on like a friend thing to see Cats because she's like, I love bad movies. And we go in, and by then every Cats screening had gone rogue and become a midnight screening. By the end of 2019 and the beginning of 2020, they were doing midnight screenings of Cats in New York at the Alamo. This had become a bad movie of legend versus Emoji Movie, which was just a shitty commercial film.
But allow me to argue back then.
Yeah.
You have to say that a film that gets midnight screenings, think of things like Rocky Horror Picture Show and The Greasy Strangler. When you think about movies like those, right? Where you think about movies like those where it gets a midnight cult following, not necessarily because it's a good movie, right? But because it's kind of a bad one, right? Yeah. And you have the argument that Cats was already kind of cheesy, and Andrew Lloyd Webber's the kind of guy who sniffs his own farts, right? He's so into himself, right? Yeah. But that means that even though this was a commercial endeavor, there was some artistic thought behind it, whereas the Emoji Movie was strictly just for a paycheck. I mean, this Emoji Movie has the notability of like, Patrick Stewart played the poop emoji, right? And that's funny, haha, right? But that role was originally offered to Jordan Peele, who that pissed him off so much he left acting to become a director. And gave us two of the best horror films I've ever seen. So,
which that makes it kind of more artistic, though, because you're like, so Emoji Movie fucked up so bad, it dropped the ball so bad. We got Get Out and fucking like what was it? Us. Like,
Yeah.
we get two of the
But
most artistic, like, fucking amazing horror films in the past 10 years.
that's not. I mean, you can't point at the Emoji Movie and say that like you deserve praise for this, right? You can't do that. That's taking away from Jordan Peele's amazing accomplishment.
That's like talking about giving the robber barons credit for helping to create OSHA.
There you
And
go.
antitrust laws, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll give it to the Emoji Movie then. I agree.
But again, I don't really. Can we think? And I'm putting this out there to our viewing audience. Can we think of anything? A movie with a plot that is a straightforward, linear, essential plot, but also a commercial endeavor that was just there to sell something, whether it be the movie itself or a product. Because I'm thinking of the Emoji Movie, but I don't want to put it on this list because I want older film. Because this is Scrubhaus Video Club. We don't do new movies.
Maybe Max, but I feel like that.
Can't think of anything. If they can't think of anything, I'm not doing it. Or I will do it rather, or the other way around. If they can't think of anything, I'll put Emoji Movie on here. I just won't like it. No, because again, with Mac and Me, like the McDonald's part of that is just. Well, no, I guess really at the end of the day, it was just designed literally just. Well, no, because I think it was originally written.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. The
Wizard. Oh man, the Wizard. No, I think Audrey's got it. Because if you think about the Wizard, the movie sucked. Literally just this on Nintendo shit.
The Power Glove, it's so bad. Yeah.
And the whole entire, I like Double Dragon.
Yeah.
And Double Dragon did have some artistic stuff to it. Like there was some heart behind that movie. But I think the Wizard clinches it. I really think it does. That movie was literally just made. It was like, why Fred Savage? Because he was a star at the time, right? Why is Christian Slater in that movie? Why is what's his name from Three's Company? Why is he in it? Because they're the stars at the time. They didn't go out and find independent actors to be in this film. They wanted names. This whole entire thing was literally just the whole plot comes down to kid is good at video games. He beats other kids who are good at video games.
What's the bad guy?
Mario Brothers 3,
toy, right? Is he has the Power Glove. So you buy the Power Glove so you can be good at video games.
So you can be good at fucking Rad Racer of all things.
Yeah.
And I mean, Lucas was such a smarmy, douchey kid, but you saw that Power Glove and you were like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. You wanted to have one. I wanted to have one because of the Wizard. And then, of course, you get the big ending scene during Video Armageddon where it's just, look, Super Mario Brothers 3. This is the official U.S. announcement that this game is coming out in a fucking movie. We didn't even know there was going to be a Super Mario Brothers 3 till that movie came out because Nintendo Power didn't talk about it. This was pre-internet. That's how you got to know about the newest Nintendo games was Nintendo Power. And all of a sudden, here's this movie. Boom, Super Mario 3. Holy shit. I think the Wizard clinches it because that movie is not good. That movie sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you watch that movie and you're just sitting there thinking, like, if that fucking kid says California one more goddamn time, I'm going to kick him across the fucking ground. Fucking annoying ass kid.
Yeah, I think put the Wizard on it. Yeah. Hole in one, Audrey. Good job.
Yeah.
Bad movie expert.
Audrey is the bad movie expert. Now, I like how Fred Savage isn't even the main character of that fucking movie, but for some reason he gets top billing. Because the main character of that movie is the kid. The California kid.
No plays him, yeah.
By the way, I'm looking at the box art for that game, or for the movie, right? And it's showing all the screenshot, like the stuff from the other games that are on here, right?
Yeah.
And it's like there's like generic space fighters and like an airplane and some kind of like demon skull thing and a snake, and it's all right. And then you have in the upper right hand corner is Mario, and the lower left hand corner is a Closter. Like it's just so Nintendo, it hurts. Oh god. Yeah. No,
Okay,
the Wizard is definitely going on
for the record, Audrey, before we continue, I just checked my Discord for my game dev server, and my friend Viv said, watching the best movie I've ever seen, Psycho Gorman, incredible.
Another you got another
Fuck,
person
I might
joining
have
the
to
Psycho
invite her
Core
to the
Man,
fucking server,
Psycho
actually.
Core Man cult.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen it. Audrey's giving me tons of shit for still not having seen it. So,
Yeah.
all right. So let's roll that bone again. We've only got 3 left.
Yeah, we'll
Two.
do 1 for 2.
We
So
got
3 is
two,
going to be
2, 4, and we have 2, 4, and what was it? 7, 2, 4, and no 2, 4, and 8 are all that's
so
left.
1, 2 is top. It's going to be
Okay.
it's going to be the one in the middle, the second.
I get what you mean. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. Roll the dice.
Okay. I got a 3.
And we're doing. It's going to be a film that is both a commercial and artistic endeavor, but also has an essential plot.
Troll 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Disagree.
You think it's too commercial, too artistic, or not essential enough, or not the best example?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I feel like that movie's more artistic than commercial because what the fuck? Like, that had some weird ass scenes in it that just didn't belong. And that is both a agnostic plot. There's a lot of the shit in that movie had nothing to do. First of all, the movie's called Troll 2, and it's about fucking goblins. That's how bad that movie is.
No, you have to understand how Italians work. You don't know the Italian magic. Yeah, Glowcat was pointing this out. They were cashing in. They were like, okay, Troll was a movie that was named. Oh, it was made. We're going to name this Troll 2, even though it's not an official sequel. It is both commercial and artistic because it was a Fulci Matai joint, if I recall, which means it's like they have a lot of weird decisions, but a lot of their decisions are made to save money and to produce money, in that they had an entirely Italian crew that only spoke Italian going to America to hire middle American nobodies, people with no acting experience. And there was no there was no shared language between the people. So in order to make this movie, everyone had to do exactly on script so that they could actually work with each other. Because if they deviated from the script, no one would be able to understand each other.
Okay, but I do want to point out that your argument there, right, therefore makes that less artistic and also less plot heavy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the plot heavy I agree with.
Commercial project, literally just to be commercial, that is an agnostic plot. That the plot isn't essential to the movie. I feel like you're arguing for the wrong slot for Troll 2.
Yeah, I think it's artistic because there's art
because of the plot.
But it's because the plot is like Fulci's like, okay, how the way Italian films worked back in the day is the only way to secure funding was to convince the producer that you were ripping off another film, and the only way to make money was to do your own thing.
Yeah, Audrey's saying it's super artistic because the goblins turn you into plants because they could eat you because they're vegetarians.
It's super weird, so it's artistic, but it's super commercial.
just because something is super weird, that doesn't really make it artistic. That's what I'm saying.
I disagree. I think you're outvoted here. This is.
I believe I might be, but I'm okay with that. Scrubhaus is nothing if not a democracy.
Yeah, it's true.
That we rule with an iron fist. So, God, I really feel like Troll 2 doesn't belong in this slot, though. I believe it belongs in a different slot, and there is one slot that's open that I feel it goes in, but. I'm saying that if you two believe it, if you feel that way, I'm okay with being outvoted. Now the question is, we only mentioned Troll 2, so let's continue talking about it. See if we can find some other. Can you think of other films that are both commercial and artistic that have essential plot? Because I can think of at least one in my own mind.
What is it?
Dogma.
But that's not a bad movie. That's like a genuinely good movie. Kevin Smith's Dogma. That's like I don't think that's a bad movie. Bad movie. Like, fuck.
I mean, It's a good movie. But I also will point out that Dogma is kind of the point where Kevin, it was the beginning of Kevin starting to, again, much like Android Lloyd Webber, start smelling his own farts. He's getting very into himself. And that was also that movie had a lot of Weinstein interference. So he wouldn't back down on the Catholic thing because that was part of the point of the movie. That was, again, an essential plot. It was very important to the movie that the plot went the way that it did. But that was also the movie where he was like, no, for my artistic, quote unquote, artistic vision to come true, I have to have Chris Rock. I have to have George Carlin. I have to have. And Weinstein was just all like, yes, yeah, more money, do it, so we can sell more tickets, you know. I'm gonna err on the side of caution and say, you know, of course I like Dogma. I think it's a great film. But that was kind of
my view on it is because my dad likes Dogma. My dad likes Dogma. I wouldn't call that a bad movie. My dad doesn't like bad movies.
My dad loves bad movies, but anyway. But along those lines, can you think of another film that's like Dogma but sucks?
What's a movie? Like, kind of like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, where it's like it has an artistic. Damn, I've got one, but it's weird. I got one, but it's weird, and a lot of people are going to disagree that it's a bad movie. I'm going to point out it's a fun movie. It's not a good movie, but the plot might be the part that breaks it. This might go in a different category.
Yeah,
and that's The Wall.
It's not a. I don't think The Wall is like. It's not like a bad movie. I'm set on Troll 2. I'm unmovable. You talk about The Wall. I'm The Wall right here.
We're trying. We can't think of. You can't think of anything else. Like, what I'm trying to do. I think that's part of the problem is just that this category in particular is really hard to think of something that's both commercial and artistic and have an essential plot, but is also a film that is bad. Is generally if it's both commercial and artistic, so it's got the budget behind it because they wanted to make their money back, and it's artistic because the people who created the movie definitely had a message to go with it, and the plot is a straightforward point A to point B plot without a whole lot of nonsensity. You get a good movie. You get E.T., you know, so it's kind of hard to balance that one.
I think you got to start looking foreign and like really weird. The Stackyard Kid. I've never seen that, but Ichi the Killer, where it's like, they were making money. It is a licensed movie. They wanted to make some money back, but it's also supremely weird. It's got a lot of bizarre, gory, unsettling choices that go like even beyond the comic. You have people getting cut open, people getting dismembered, people getting swallowed alive. And a lot of it, I'd say it's a bad movie because most people will not be able to sit through it.
I think that movie, the plot is all over the place, though.
Yeah,
because it has the one overarching plot, but then it's all the stuff that happens between point A and point B. It's like watching a very violent episode of Space Dandy.
Yeah, a lot of Japanese movies like that. Oh wow, Guy Ritchie.
Both commercial and artistic with an essential plot. A Guy Ritchie movie. Huh? Because Audrey said this. I think Audrey was making a joke. But commercial, artistic, essential plot, bad movie. Layer Cake. No, not Layer Cake. Lock, Stock isn't that good. Snatch is better than Lock, Stock. But Lock, Stock's still a good movie. Damn it.
I think we kind of got to go with Troll 2.
I have to go with Troll 2 because we can't think of anything else. And I also feel like Troll 2 doesn't go in this slot either, but it's the closest one I can think that we can agree on. So yeah, I guess fucking Troll 2 is going in there. What else can I do? I can't do dick about it. I just have to go with what y'all are saying here.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because like I said, if we are anything, we are a democracy. Um, so that's interesting. That and hey, why not? Why not Troll 2? Troll 2 needs to win at something.
I think it won some Razzies.
Fucking Razzies. We're not even gonna bring the Razzies up into this. We might do an episode on the Razzies one day. So yeah, what
I rolled a 2, so that's plot agnostic artistic.
So we have an artistic merit but an agnostic plot.
There's 2 options here, and this is a crossroads, right? Unless you want to go first, because I stole the spotlight last time, so please go ahead.
Let me think. I feel like there's a whole bunch of options here. And another movie that is 100% artistic merit, a nonsensical plot, right? But it is a bad movie, not a good one.
But the plot is somewhat there. Like there's something tying it together. It's not really
good. I'm going to say a weird one. As I have one for commercial and agnostic that I think will work there great. So I'm going to say a really weird one here, and that is no, actually, that's the movie I was thinking of.
What was it? You got to say it now, dude.
It's not a bad movie. That's the problem. I wanted to say it because it technically is a bad movie, but it's not a bad movie because it's so much fun. It's got a great soundtrack, and it's Rocky Horror.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
The plot's all over the place, and it's totally an artistic film. Richard O'Brien had a specific vision that he wanted to present on stage and on screen, and it's by all definitions, it should have been a bad movie. But it's got such a good soundtrack, you would forget about that. You have fun with it, but it's such a stupid movie.
I have 2 options. May I present?
Sure, go for it.
We either go for the Neil Breen here, or Tales from the Quad Dead Zone. Completely artistic. The guy who made Quad Dead Zone, Tales from the Quad. Yeah.
It's
Chester Novel Turner was making this on a fucking VHS thing. Yeah, he's an SOV pioneer, right? Yeah. Shot on video pioneer, but he's himself, and it's a fucking god awful movie, but also like Double Down, right? Like, or any number of Breen movies, like Fateful Findings. So it's like
I kind of feel like if we're going to pick one of these films to be in here, Tales from the Quad Dead Zone might supersede all. Because it is, it's kind of a shit film, but it also is kind of all over the place. Because even though it's not just the fact that it's an anthology film, right? But it's also the fact that each story, like even the stories in the anthology, don't make a whole lot of fucking sense. Yeah, they're kind of random shit.
They're a string. Yeah, the other thing, like when you think about it,
video violence. I've never seen that, Audrey.
Video violence is another one. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I think I have. Is that the one that ends like with its own theme song, and they dub in the guy's name saying Sammy because they changed it to fit the theme song?
I don't know. I looked it up, and the first thing that I see is there's a copy of Pieces on a video rental shelf right next to a copy of Conan the Barbarian.
I've seen stuff about video violence. It's the fake snuff film.
There's a really weird, like the cover of the movie is really weird, where like a guy looks like he's wearing a glove, but it's not. But it's like you can still see his fingers through the glove. So I guess it's not really a glove, but it's covered in blood, and it looks like he's wearing a glove so he doesn't get fake blood all over his hands. And he's putting a tape into a VHS plate. I don't know, it's a fucking weird movie, man.
Yeah, I think like you could put any number, like fucking literally like off the top of my head, Tales from the Quad Dead Zone, Video Violence, Las Vegas Bloodbath, Axum, like all of these work because they all have bare bonus plots and are purely made artistically.
Yeah, I was reading the plot, Audrey. The husband and wife open a video store in town and find out locals only rent horror films, so they make snuff videos. And I'm like, that seems to be, even though I know what you're saying, like it's kind of all over the place probably, but it does feel like this movie. I'm looking at it and I'm going like, well, this does feel like it's got a straightforward plot for the most part.
What I will say is I would say, yeah.
Audrey says it doesn't really, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say
like it's gonna have a straightforward. It's sort of like Saturday the 14th. When you first watch it, it seems like it's gonna have a straightforward plot. Then it just goes all over the fucking place. You know what the hell's going on? I would say Saturday the 14th for this, but that's definitely a commercial project.
Yeah.
Because it was just trying to rip off Friday the 13th and yet have nothing to do with Friday the 13th. I don't know what the fuck they were. Whatever. Tales from the Quad Dead Zone might work for this. Audrey likes.
I will say Quad Dead because I've actually seen Quad Dead. I know Video Violence. I know loosely from other things, but I can actually attest to Quad Dead. So that's like my. I don't know. I guess like my ethics as a streamer ? Like I'm on the show. I feel like I can't talk out of my ass that hard. I might look for a copy.
All right, so we have the Tales from the Quad Dead Zone. We're adding that to the list, and now we only have one left.
Yeah, no matter what I roll. Agnostic commercial.
Yep, that's where we're at now. Let me go ahead and put the banner up while I finish working on this. That it's
clues.
Commercial merit with agnostic plot, and so for this one, right? A movie that is made specifically to make money, but the plot is all over the place. I said it earlier. Saturday the 14th.
Yeah.
Saturday the 14th is yeah, Audrey, if this was a video game, it would be Pepsi Man. Exactly. Saturday the 14th, again, nonsensical plot. It's all over the place, and that movie was literally just made to cash in. But that's also how parody movies work. And I feel like if you're going to do a parody, like comedy movie like Saturday the 14th, it doesn't necessarily count. Because if we were going to, and that was also part of the reason why earlier, like I wanted to discount any parody films. Tales from the Crapper, notwithstanding that one's, because it's technically even though the artwork and stuff is a parody, it's not really a parody of like the Crypt Keeper. It's not a parody of like Tales from the Crypt. It's this parody of like anthology films in general. It's not really a parody either. It's just Troma's version of that. So
this enters a weird realm where you're like, does every Freeberg and Seltzer parody movie enter this spot? Does, like, if you put Epic Movie and Scary Movie 4 here, Scary Movie 5, like it can be too many doors, right?
Yeah, I would say probably, starting with like Scary Movie 3, this is probably where those would go. But again, parody is, and I get those aren't really parodies; they're just references. No, another movie I was thinking about along these lines where it's a, it nonsensical plot, but it was definitely a commercial endeavor, but the plot's just kind of all over the place. Was and this is unfair to say. It's unfair to say because it was studio interference that made it this way. But I was thinking about Hellraiser Bloodlines. And I feel like Hellraiser Bloodlines is because there were things in that movie that didn't make any fucking sense. Like at the very beginning, it's like, why the fuck is Pinhead here? Like this isn't what the fuck. He doesn't exist yet. We're in Victorian times. Why the fuck is he here? And then let's move the movie along. Come on, let's just get to the next thing. Well, it doesn't make any sense. Why the fuck is this character doing this? Why do they do the things that they do? Why the fuck is Pinhead all of a sudden got a boner for this one guy? You know, it's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
I'm gonna go with what Glowcat said. Yeah, it's like all of the Asylum films are like this.
I disagree though, because the Asylum films have they're literally just cash cow movies, right? But they at least have plots.
Yeah, they're a little more coherent.
They're not good plots, but they're not plotless, you know.
There's more than
same token though. How do you define what is a? They're not plotless though, right? The plot is unclear but still coherent. That was the thing we put in the chart. So maybe if you were gonna pick an Asylum movie to go into,
I think the Sherlock Holmes one where he goes in a time machine and meets a bunch of dinosaurs, that looked pretty nuts, I think. Right? Or like I remember watching I think it was Death Racers and feeling pretty whiplashed with that one.
I don't want to put Death Racers on there just because like we did watch it and it's got ICP and I think that's really funny.
Yeah. It is, in my opinion, points in its favor. Like significant points in its favor.
The biggest problem with Death Racers and all the Asylum films is, again, yes, they are all cash cow movies and their plots are kind of nonsensical, but they also there's a difference between doing something for commercial merit and like we're hoping that this movie makes a ton of money, and doing things for like we're trying to confuse the buying public and by ripping off another film that's currently successful. So like Death Racers versus Death Race, you know, Snakes on a Plane versus Snakes on a Train. You know, it's like, it's for commercial reasons, but it's not for the right commercial reasons. I think that's
I think that's commercial because then otherwise
it is commercial. No, I'm saying that. I just don't like the idea of rewarding any of these fuckers.
Films. I think they're okay.
Grassy points out that Death Racers did lead to big money rustlers getting made because ICP was like, "No, we can do better. We've already."
They did do better. It's a Big Money Rustler is a much better movie.
Yeah, in that particular case, I'll put Death Racers on there. Fuck it, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Okay. What is it?
I think that's actually kind of funny that Death Racers of all fucking movies would be the one fucking make it in. But yeah, so and I think this alignment chart can actually work for non-bad movies as well. We just wanted to put bad movies in here for a reason because fucking bad movies. Yeah. We don't necessarily watch just bad movies. In fact, a lot of the movies we watch are really good. We specialize in movies nobody else likes, and we can also agree these movies suck. So yeah, I think we have the chart. Let me save this and we'll upload it to the thing and we'll show it off here in a second. But yeah, I think this has been so far a really good episode. And we did something today, Mythos. Are you proud of yourself?
I'm very proud. I'm also attempting to grab someone for the server.
Well, I'm proud of you too. Yeah, Grassy said the chart can be adjusted. Well, I don't think so because it's already done. There it is. the official Scrubhaus Video Club bad movie alignment chart.
Send me a copy. Put it in the server.
It's going to go in the server. Yeah, it's definitely the full high res version of it's going to go in the server. I just wanted to, definitely put it on screen so everybody can see it.
Yeah,
that sort of thing. But yeah, so let me put it back up there one more time. Actually, let's put it back up there one more time. What does everybody think of our beautiful alignment chart here?
certainly looks fucking awesome. Good job.
Well, I mean, I couldn't do it. I couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you.
You know, you also did a fantastic job, and so did our the lovely viewers. All of you, all 5 of you, helped out with this. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be it for the main part of the show. We are running a little long, but that's okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to do what we always do. Our usual shtick. We'll take questions from the audience. If anybody who's watching has any questions for me or special guest star Mythos right now, go ahead and do that, and we'll do the thing. In the meantime, while we're waiting, how are you?
Me, I'm pretty great. I got a lot of good work done today. Did a gig today. Did this today. Feeling good.
Audrey wants to know if you've ever seen the rain.
I mean, it rains in New York sometime. It was snowing earlier today. There's been a lot of snow.
It rains all the time here in Chattanooga, and it sucks. But maybe Audrey was talking about a movie, The Rain. Let's see. The Rain film. I keep getting a TV series. Maybe I should go on IMDb instead of Google. Maybe I get a more cohesive answer here if I do this. There was, let's see. There was a 2007 short film called The Rain, a series of, this is a Swedish film, series of tableau, a series of tableau of everyday settings with people in various stages of their lives, relationships form and finish, memories of me. This feels like some fucking Oscar bait bullshit, so I don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah, they're trolling us.
Dan doesn't have any no questions from me though, so I guess we'll just move on to pop culture news. There is a little bit of pop culture news currently. That John Boyega, you know, the guy that used to be in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? He apparently joined a Black Lives Matter protest despite backlash that he feared he was going to get from Hollywood for doing so.
Well, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him for doing that. I mean, it's a good action. Good thing to do. And fuck Hollywood for trying to keep people from doing the right thing.
So the Justice League, of course, they got a director's cut like all the other movies from DC. The Snyder Cut is rated R for violence and language.
Surprisingly.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a Snyder liking being edgy.
There is Spider-Man 3. You know, it's the third Spider-Man movie in the current trilogy, as we're filming right now. Willem Dafoe reportedly seen on the set of the film. So they assume that he's going to be returning as Norman Osborn.
Nice.
To reprise his role as the Green Goblin.
Nice.
So that's interesting. And the Coming to America, the Super Bowl trailer came out. Of course, it's Super Bowl night, so it came out tonight. And as well as I saw the trailer for because that debuted tonight during the Super Bowl for Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't really give a shit.
I'm done with movies.
Yeah. Apparently, in comics news, Man-Bat is becoming DC's version of Venom.
Huh.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's a new Nobody trailer as well, which is a movie I'm very excited to see. So. Yep. Yeah, Audrey's super excited about the next Spider-Man movie because of Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe's great. Yeah. So I think that's gonna be it for the show tonight.
Yeah. Awesome.
We did a good thing tonight. We did a good job. I did post it. The full bad movie alignment chart is posted in the Scrubhaus Discord. Which, if you want to be a part of the Discord, hey, if you're on Facebook, it's up there. If you're on YouTube, it's down there. If you're on Twitch, I don't know what to tell you. It's I don't think Twitch actually put it in like the description or anything like that. But I don't know. Audrey's in there. They'll send you a link or something if you really want to be part of the Discord. But we do please, everybody, join the Discord server. It's awesome. And speaking of other things you can do, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Scrubhaus Video Club, all one word. You can do that, and you'll get the credits of the show. And there's some other things that we want to do in the future that we just haven't done yet, but it's because we've only got a few people on the Patreon.
Creative and commercial, plot agnostic, Scrubhaus.com. Yeah.
Exactly.
We are the Tales of the Crapper of the internet.
We certainly are, and
I have a fucking merch. I have a
we have merch
that I wear to death. Yeah,
yes. And we actually have some new merch actually that's going up fairly soon. I've seen the prototype image. Audrey sent it to me earlier, and it's awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna say bon voyage to my co-host, the wonderful Miss Mythos Santa, and to everybody else, have a good night. All right, Mythos, say bye to everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.